worship of the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is prescribed herewith, even for persons who are simply discharging their prescribed duties. There are prescribed duties for the different social classes of men, the Brahmanas, the Vaishyas, the Kshatriyas, and the Shudras. And for the different ashramas, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. One should worship the deity of the Lord until one appreciates the presence of the Lord in every living entity. In other words, one should not be satisfied simply by discharging his duties properly. He must realize his relationship and the relationship of all other living entities with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he does not understand this, then even though he discharges his prescribed duties properly, it is to be understood that he is simply laboring without profit. The word Swakarmakrit in this verse is very significant. Swakarmakrit is one who engages in discharging his prescribed duties. It is not that one who has become a devotee of the Lord or who engages in devotional service should give up his prescribed duties. No one should be lazy under the plea of devotional service. One has to execute devotional service according to the prescribed duties. Swakarmakrit means that one should discharge the duties prescribed for him without neglect. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So again the same principle of the inseparable connection between the soul and Krishna is being explained in a different context, especially in the context of worshipping the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We all know that the deity Archa Vigraha is an Archa incarnation. It's an incarnation of the Lord who has come into the material or has come into the body made up of matter, come into the matter body, which is perceivable to us by one of our senses, and having entered into Supreme Personality of Godhead, having entered into the body made of matter, because of the presence of the Lord and His surrounding energy, just like if sun goes anywhere, sun will go with the light and heat. The same way the Lord incarnates into the body of the matter Vigraha, and all his energies also accompany him, and these energies completely spiritualize the matter body so that it no longer has the effect of matter, but it's spiritual as its original connection with Krishna. Everything in existence has come from Krishna, therefore everything in existence is spiritual. So the matter body is also spiritual. But because in this material world, a facility is given to see everything separate from Krishna, therefore even though material energy is spiritual, it has a material effect. Matter body has a material effect. Matter is one kind of spiritual energy of the Lord. So matter energy can either act spiritually or it can act materially. When it acts materially, it makes us forget, or whenever it makes us forget Krishna, that is called, it is acting materially. It is acting in the three modes of material nature by combination of three gunas. And when it is engaged in pure devotional service, when everything is connected to the Supreme Lord's pleasure, then immediately it gains its original spirituality and it becomes spiritual. So this is the Archa incarnation of the Lord. This verse particularly says that every practitioner of Bhakti Yoga has to go through the process of worshipping the deity or worshipping the Lord in the Archa Vigraha. By practicing or by engaging in devotional service to the Archa Vigraha, according to the directions of the Shastras and Guru, one's consciousness, Chitta, also gets purified by association. And when by association we get purified, the result of that, very quickly, the result of that is one's material vision of the world goes away. In other words, one simply understands that the Lord is all pervading. Lord is just like Lord is residing for a particular rasa with his devotees in the body of the deity. The Lord is also residing for a different kind of rasa in every living entity. But his function is different there. With what the scriptures reveal as the function of Paramatma, the devotee sees that the living entity, every living entity is manifest his consciousness in this material world because the super soul is behind him. In other words, you see a conscious person, a conscious living entity, a living entity. His consciousness is not independent. It is not his consciousness independent. His consciousness is driven by Paramatma. Everybody's consciousness is driven by Paramatma. The power to see, power to touch, power to smell, power to taste, the power to move things, the power of the intellect, the power of emotions, all this, behind all that is the super soul. Without his sanction, none of these things is possible for us to experience. Because we are spiritual beings. How can we have material experience? Spiritual beings have spiritual experience. But we have material experience because of the magic that Krishna does seated in our heart. This point is revealed in the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. How this illusion is made to appear as reality. An opportunity is given for the living entities to lead a normal life. What is normal? Our normal life is in the spiritual world. Spirit lives like spirit lives with spiritual body, But here in this material world, we live as if we have spiritual bodies, but no spiritual bodies. But it's a fact that you cannot enjoy material things if you don't think that you are having a spiritual body. The moment you remember that you have a material body, all your rasa is gone. Yes or not? Let us say continuously you have stomach ache. Pain. Then you cannot, you are totally, you cannot think that you are having you cannot be in illusion that you have a Satchidananda body. You are constantly reminded, crazy body this is, giving me pain. Or if you get diseased, you will constantly think of this body. Imagine no disease, no pain, and everything is fine. You will never remember that you have a material body. You will never be aware. So, good karma means, you will be more into illusion. Bad karma means, spiritually speaking, bad karma means, spiritually, good opportunity for you to remember you are not this body. And then think about what is my constitutional position. Then only we'll think about Adhyatmika, Adidhaivika, Adi Bhautika kleshas. When it hits us, then we will remember these kleshas. Where is this? Where is the place? I don't like all these kleshas. Is there a place I can get a body which is free from birth, death, old age, disease, free from all these kleshas? That questioning happens only when your body gives, when your body starts failing, then you start thinking. Otherwise, you keep thinking that everything is fine. That is illusion. So, coming back to the point that this verse says that everybody has a prescribed duty, which means a duty which he has to fulfill, which he has to execute as per his bodily constitution or as per his past desires, etc., for what he is born. When we take birth in a particular kind of a body, if we, let us say, we did not become devotees also, the body has got certain seeds of destiny which has to be fulfilled before you die. Something you have to become, something you have to unbecome, something you have to enjoy, something you have to suffer. So those bijas are there. That is why Prabhupada says, when you are born, your material destiny is fixed. So there is nobody who does not have a prescribed duty. They all have a prescribed duty. So Prabhupada is explaining here that prescribed duty one cannot escape. One should not escape, one should not try to be lazy in the name of devotional service. Oh, now I am in bhakti, all these are all karma. A tendency is there. These are all karma, I don't know. Their understanding karma means action. Bhakti means love. So karma means action. So action is not bhakti. But devotion service is devotional. Prabhupada never translated bhakti as devotion, devotion, devotion. You should note that. What did he translate every time? Devotional service, devotional service, devotional service. Because these two things cannot be separated. If you are bhakti, you will serve. If you serve, then you will have bhakti. So devotional service means, that is meaning of bhakti. So this verse says that one should not give up one's prescribed duty just because he is practicing bhakti yoga. That means we have to understand in all circumstances that I have to engage my mind and body in activities. Either activities which are disconnected from Krishna, or activities which are for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Activity is a must. Prescribed, and Prabhupada says, those who have taken up devotional service, their activity is prescribed devotional service. What is prescribed? One has to execute devotional service according to his prescribed duties. So here, in our Krishna consciousness movement, within the movement, we have a particular kind of a social structure, just like the outside Varnashrama system, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, prescribed duties are there in a normal Varnashrama society. Not speaking about the present society. The present society is all, everybody is engaged in unauthorized karma or vikarma, or activities which are not authorized. It is not even their choice. It is the influence of the Kali Yuga, where nobody knows even this concept of swadharma, swakarma, swakarmakrit. So that concept also nobody knows. Everybody is acting for, just like an animal does not know, he just acts, finds ways and means to eat, sleep, mate, friend, nice sleep. So because of the ignorance of the living entities, modern outside civilization, there is no Varnashrama, they are all engaged in simply like polished animals. That is what Prabhupada called civilization of polished animals. So we are in a different situation. By the desire of a pure devotee, he has created a community, a society. Again, it is just like this outside world, only this is also one world. Isn't it? Society, it is a world of people. So in this world of people, Prabhupada has told us how to be in a Vaishnava community of a preaching mission. He has given us objectives to be achieved in this material world. We all have objectives to achieve in this material world, along with awakening our devotional service. So we have this morning program, that is our spiritual prescribed duties. Then we have prescribed duties for our yantra, which is also devotional service, which results in activities very much with the material world. Just like if we have to run this organization, then we practically have to do all the activities like any other organization. The way we do it may be different, but end of the day, we have to sustain. There has to be a financial activity. There has to be activity where service to the society is rendered by the organization. And for that, we have to maintain this institution accordingly to achieve the objectives of preaching. So, therefore, we see here also, we have to understand that we are having prescribed duties. Just like Arjuna had a prescribed duty, we all have a prescribed duty. Now, in a larger society, Varnashrama society, the prescribed duties may be more sorted out and more focused. with respect to one's guna and karma. But here it is little different because of the power of the Hare Krishna chanting. Our prescribed duty is not rigid. Whatever is needed, we will do. Just like there was nobody to help Srila Prabhupada when he started this movement, he himself would cook, he himself will wash the pot, he himself will serve the people to whom he gave Bhagavad Gita class, he will go and serve prasadam to them. Everything he did. Because this is transcendental devotional service. So the Vaishnava can do anything as prescribed duty. What he normally does not do for himself, he will be ready to do. What normally he would like to do for himself, if it is for pleasure of Krishna, no, I will not do it. I like this is my nature, I like this very much. But if it is not for the pleasure of Krishna, I will not do it. So we are not particularly attached to our inclinations, we are not particularly attached to our tendencies. But however, we take the shortcut of engaging what good we have in the service of the Lord. But that is not a fixed, rigid principle in this kind of a unique situation where Prabhupada has created this movement. Whatever service is given, we execute. And when we chant Hare Krishna, our morning program will cleanse us, keep us pure. And then the morning program includes the deity worship. One should not think that deity worship that is prescribed here means in the altar you have to do deity worship. Don't mistake that. Every devotee has to go through deity worship means he has to engage in attending the aratis, he has to engage in seeing the deities, he has to engage in kirtan before the deities, he has to take prasadam of the deities. When you sit in the ashram prasadam hall also, when you are honoring prasadam, that is also deity worship. So deity worship is one of the ways in which we get purified. And this verse particularly says, therefore through performing his prescribed duties, one should worship the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead until one realizes my presence in his own heart and in the hearts of all other living entities as well. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, one who sees me everywhere and everything in me, then I am never lost to him, or he is never lost to me, nor I am lost to him. So there is nothing or no person or no thing which is disconnected from Super Soul, which means ultimately disconnected from Krishna, because Super Soul is an expansion of Krishna. Of course, Mayavadis, they misinterpret, they simply say that everybody is that Krishna. But we say that what Bhagavata says, what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that you are inseparable from the Lord, but you are different, Lord is different. There's two. Simultaneously one and different. One in substance, one in two different in function, eternally different in functions. One in substance because everything is Krishna. Vibhinnamshas, swamshas, material energy, everything is Krishna. There cannot be a second substance other than God in existence. There cannot be a second substance. But that substance has got varieties, And those varieties, the functions are different. I am God, but I am eternally different from God as His servant. And God is eternally different from me as God. So as the function as God, as function as source of everything, I am not the source, God is the source. So God is source substance, and we are all come from that. So we are the substance, energies that have come from that substance. So this way there is a kind of, this is real monism. Oneness, where we find this Advaya, oneness being described in the scriptures, in the Upanishads, everywhere. That oneness means this. It is a fact, there absolute truth cannot be two. In Tattva it cannot be two. Everything is God, substance. But in its active form, eternally, everything is simultaneously different from God, and God is separate from everything. So, understanding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy, automatically this perception develops. This perception develops. It is not about physically seeing God in everybody. This is not about, one realizes my presence in his own heart. Not about realizes his form in his own heart. And in the hearts of all other living entities. It is about realizing the presence. When you realizing the presence means what? You see Krishna's wish and will according to Shastra everywhere in everything. And all the living entities are going through the force of Kala, and every living entity has no control over it. Who is the controller? Krishna is the controller through Kala. Living entities are born, they grow, they remain, they grow old, they die. They cannot claim proprietorship over their body as their body. Simple, nobody has any control even over how his body will. He has not even chosen where to be born. He has not even chosen how he should look. Suddenly, you have not chosen, but you say, this is me. Is it not? You won't, if you know that it is not chosen by you, then you will not associate with it. Suppose I give a shirt to someone and he doesn't like the color. Then he will never associate with that. He will never wear that. He will always look at it as not me. Isn't it? In the same way, you look into the mirror, your body. Did I choose? Who made this choice? I should look like this. Who made this choice? Oh, I never made this choice. Prakriti, material nature, according to your karma, has chosen a body and pushed it on you. Who made you a male? Who made you a female? Who chose? I didn't choose. After I am in a male body, then I am male, I am male. After you are in a female body, then you say, I am a female body. I am female. The same Atma, if it was given a female body, then you will say, I am female. So, am I a male or am I a female? What is my individuality? What is my gender? I am Indian. I am born in India, so I am Indian. So all these things are to see this, to see the Lord in everyone's heart. Mean you can see it's not about mechanical seeing, it is about seeing with the drishti that the Shastras have asked us to see. What is the purpose of existence? What is the role of the super soul in this material world? What is in the heart of every living entity, what is the mind of the super soul? You can feel the presence of a person by feeling the presence of his mind. Isn't it? When you pray to Prabhupada, you feel the presence of Prabhupada. Even though Prabhupada is physically not before you, you feel the presence of Prabhupada. Just like very easily, male will feel the presence of female and female will feel the presence of male. Why? Answer. Because you see the mind. Because you see the mind. When you see the mind, then you feel the presence of that person. We have trained ourselves to see the mind of a male differently, of a female differently. We are trained. So therefore, we become gender conscious. We are trained from childhood, socially conditioned. Society conditions us. Everything, the way we see, everything is also socially conditioned. After coming to Krishna consciousness, after chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, after associating with the Shastras, slowly we start seeing the truth in a different way than what I was taught in my childhood. What I trained myself in my childhood, these are all different default ways of seeing people, default ways of seeing the world. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, every day hearing, your entire perception changes. Because the present perception is also existing not because you are born with that. After you are born, you got conditioned to it by the society. We are completely conditioned. And now in the association of Vaishnavas, by hearing and chanting, we are reconditioning our minds. We are reconditioning our perception. And then just as naturally you will see people as bodies before, you will naturally separate those bodies, associate with nature and the soul and the super soul as spiritual energies. And the super soul, to see the super soul, you need to see the mind of the super soul. To see the mind of the super soul, the Shastras have revealed. What is a sitting Upadrashta, Anumanta, sanctioner, permitter, is a witness. For Vaishnavas, he is the guide. He is the one who, other functions he does, standard function for everybody, it's not, time-based. It is Mata Smriti Jnanam Apohanam Cha, giving our ability to be aware in this material world. We are able to experience the contaminated consciousness because of the empowerment of the super soul. Not only that, all the powers that we have, every power that the karmi has got in this material world, personal functions that he has got, it's all coming from the super soul. That's what Prahlad replied when Narasimhadev asked, when Hiranyakashipu asked him, where are you getting all this power from? So Prahlad Maharaj had this vision. It was a very natural, he just described whatever he is seeing, he is described. Arey, you also, where you got power only, I also got power, because the source of all power is super soul. All material power also, believe, all material power source is also super soul. So materially we achieve something, materially I am the ability in man. When Krishna, why Krishna says? Because it is him. We are only eating the fruits. Everything is sanctioned by the Lord. According to a scheme of things, the fruits are born in the tree of material energy. And we eat that fruit, but he does not eat that fruit at all in this material world. In other words, in the material life, Krishna does not involve in material life. Even though he is Upadrishta and Hanumanta for our sake, but he does not get into this material life. So the point to be made here is that, one should, not only here, many places Prabhupada said that one should not be lazy. One should, always try to do his prescribed duties. And the right way of understanding is, yes, after I doing my sadhana, I have my obligation to the society. I have my obligation to Prabhupada to engage in the preaching mission. I have an obligation. Just like karmis, they feel they have an obligation to the organization because they are getting salary. Right? They have an obligation. Therefore, they go and they work. Our attitude is not that. But we are doing it bhakti. We have an obligation to spread Krishna consciousness, to take forward the message of Srila Prabhupada. We have an obligation for preaching mission, means men, money, capital, organization, all these things are involved. So somewhere I have to participate. Then there is honesty in existence. If somebody is lazy, he simply thinks I am in the temple only because I get prasadam and I want to chant nicely and read nicely. Then that is not correct. Chant nicely, read nicely, work nicely. Prescribed duties. Fortunately, our work is becoming, everything that you do here becomes fully spiritual. But outside it's very difficult to get this opportunity. Such an opportunity you have from morning till evening, everything that you do is connected to the Lord, and Lord is happy, and it is part of your bhakti. That good fortune is created by Srila Prabhupada. If Prabhupada hadn't created an organization, what is there? No organization at all, not required. Simply everybody chant Hare Krishna. This organization is all Maya. Organized religion is Maya, organization is Maya. What is all these things? We are supposed to be not having any designation, but here there is one president, there is one vice president, there is one temple commander, this, all these things. It doesn't look like spiritual world. Very easy to conclude like this, and very easy to feel a distance from this. This is all not spiritual. This is not spiritual. This is not spiritual. Too much discipline, too much meetings, and this restriction, that restriction, so many restrictions. No problem. You become liberated, Jivan Mukta, then you will not get no discipline. Nobody will tell you what to do. You do whatever you want. But wait for that. Do all this and wait for that gift. Everything else, Krishna knows where we are, what our stage is, and according to that, he keeps us. You cannot prematurely jump into a situation of pure bhakti, or cannot prematurely jump into a situation of not as if Krishna is directing you directly. I know organization, I don't need any discipline. It's a fact. Prabhupada writes in one place, an acharya cannot be a subject of disciplinary moves, disciplinary action. Nobody can criticize an acharya. Whatever he does, he does. That's all. Over. He's the last word. But we cannot be like that. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, regarding that super soul's interference, super soul's acting as an interface
Interface.
in facilitating the soul
To experience material world.
Yeah. So I would like to take one example here. That suppose a person is eating bhoga, his favorite item, and in that whatever that taste is there, that is generating in form of chemicals in the body.
Generating?
In form of chemicals in the material body. Generally, all the material taste or material pleasure is in form of chemicals.
Chemicals.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this the super soul is acting as an interface to translate these chemicals into some the spiritual pleasure that the soul want to feel. It's an illusory spiritual pleasure. Now the same person is now taking prasadam, that same item, but as a prasadam. So
Same item offered.
Offered. Yeah. So now this same whatever process was happening in the case of bhoga, that taste is in form of chemicals, and then all this will happen also here also. And then I just wanted to ask that soul will
Same thing happens.
Same thing will happen.
Same thing happens, but at the end, that transforming chemical into a taste, that is an illusory part.
Yes, Prabhu.
Illusory part.
Yes,
In
Prabhu.
the case of prasadam, that translation is not required because Krishna, already it's Krishnaized and straight away you experience. So there is no need for that illusion. That illusory transformation jump is not required. When you offer, that has happened, that illusion has gone. The Lord's prasadam is non different from Krishna. Just like you say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's a sound. This is also sound. This sound requires interfacing for you to hear. This Hare Krishna sound, the sound itself, there is parallel sound incarnation. There is the material part, and there is the Lord who has incarnated in it, Shaktya Vaishyavatara. So the Shaktya Vaishyavatara you will hear directly.
So that if I compare both the cases, the difference is being made at the super soul level. When super soul is actually who was earlier translating that into an illusory spiritual experience. Now it is direct spiritual experience.
Direct spiritual. No translation is required.
Okay, bro. Thank you.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, you just told that bhakti is not just devotion, it is actually a devotional service. And every day we perform devotional experience to get the spiritual experience, right? My question here, Prabhu, like all the moment we'll be performing the devotional service, like attending Mangalarti, chanting, all those things. Sometimes it so happens that subconscious mind will create some disturbance. So it generally impact on our consciousness. So during the devotional service, my question is like, how do you take it that in? It's like it is really matters for me to consider those whatever the disturbance which is causing from the subconscious mind.
No, you already answered. You said it is not from you; it is from your subconscious mind.
Yes, Prabhu, but it's really it's really important for me to consider those whatever the disturbances which is happening through subconscious.
Yeah, we always try to, any disturbance means disturbance from something, disturbance means undesirable, correct?
Exactly, bro.
If it is undesirable, then we should try to detach from it.
How it is, bro, like practically?
How practically, when somebody comes to come to disturb, then to counter that disturbance, you need Shakti. Right?
Yes, bro.
If somebody wants to push you this way and it is undesirable,
yes,
then you need to give a counter push. Right?
Yes, Prabhu.
which means there is a Shakti which is coming, your subconscious Shakti, due to past karma, you need to give a counter. And that counter Shakti is
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna. It's all about association and building up energy, spiritual energy. And enough ammunitions are there with us. I always say, we are in a wholesale business. For everything we have one Shakti. Hare Krishna Shakti. Acha, there is a particular kind of a problem, one particular medicine. Another problem of the mind, another medicine. Oh, this is big janjat. All kinds of problems, one medicine. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And it works. One medicine, either read Prabhupada's books or chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. You will solve the problem. You will get the Shakti. जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय.